What up, what up, what up? J. Marcell here. Now the video I dropped before I put this one out about the causations, the assumptions, and using your rational, reasoning, logical mind, I felt like it needed some more pieces to it, needed to be broke down a little bit more. The reason I said it is because when it comes to your assumptions, they are very critical. Your assumptions is that which you dream up that is possible, that can happen. And your assumptions must be fed from a domain in which is almost like it's cash money, a domain in which is assured for sure. The only realm that can guarantee something for sure like that is the spiritual realm, the unseen realm, the realm from where the universe and mind and cosmic mind energy flows from that domain. That's God's realm. God's true essence is being the creator of all things. Not so much creator if it's of an individual, but it has the capability to be the cause of all. That supreme, divine, cosmic energy, spirit that permeates in all, through all, and expresses itself as all. That supreme force that allows everything that is in existence to come to be. Not an individual, not a being with some kind of a location or an outline, but a supreme energy force, spirit, that permeates throughout the whole universe and universes, multi-universes, and causes all things to come into being. We are so used to thinking and perceiving from your physical aspect, we think that's the greatest part of us, but it is not. So when it comes to assumptions, your assumptions have to be on a level where you know you can imagine much greater than you've already experienced. I'm gonna be honest with you, everything that comes into existence must be imagined first. It cannot come, then nothing can come into play into this reality if there's not a personal or a thought behind it. A thought and an envision, a dream, a creation from some thought process in the beginning. The universe works like that. One giant cosmic mind. So your assumptions must come from a place where what we call God world, God's domain, God frequency. Remember, like I said, the true definition of God is not a being with an outline or a beginning or an ending, just a supreme divine energy that permeates through all and causes all things to come in existence. So if you know that that is the realm and world in which you're reaching for to assist you, prayer, that's all prayer is. Prayer is you getting quiet so you can try to make contact with an unseen world and hoping and wishing that, you know, what you're praying for could transpire. I don't like the word hope and wishing. I don't stand on no. That's why my premise in talking is to already get you familiar with a mindset that says I'm dealing with and I'm reaching for, I'm aspiring and collaborating with a supreme divine force in which all things are possible. Because in that God's realm, that God's domain in the universe, any and all things already exist. Any and all already exist because it is a domain in which there's unlimited potentiality for all things to come into being. So like they said, this thing is created before you can even think about it most of the time. But because it's not presented itself into our physical world, we think this world is better than that world. But no, your assumptions must come from reaching and having an understanding that where you're reaching and causing it to come from is of this great existence, this great domain, this great realm. You're not going to get around it. I mean, we can think mediocrity, and when you think mediocrity, you know, you living on hope, wishing, you know, if I could just have this. I do my best to fight against that perspective and that notion. I've had too many experiences where things transpired where I didn't even utilize these particular techniques. I just knew it was something I needed and was required, left it alone, didn't pay it no attention, and thus it came across my path. It's just the fact of the matter that so easily that it almost seemed like it would have normally happened anyway. No, sir. That's not how it, nothing happens by chance or by just circumstances that came about. No, all things have their birthplace from some kind of a notion or belief. Whether you can recognize the notion or belief or not, it still has its birthplace from some notion, some belief, and some feeling. You're not going to get around that. The way it works is, in the spiritual realm, it's what they call particles and waves. The universe moves in its core essence is particles and waves, real small subatomic particles. Waves are bursts of energy that move and flow that can be anywhere and everywhere at the same time. It will not reduce or turn itself into a particle until it comes across a strong enough thought process or strong enough thought energy that makes the quantum particles come together and start to formulate and have an essence or an existence. Now, in the 3D realm around here where we live at, it may take a minute to come across your path. But at the same time, it also can be instantaneous if it's required like that. So there is no set time. I'm not going to tell you, once again, this is not easy to deal with this, to play with this, to rely on this, because you don't know when something and what you need to manifest is going to take place. With assumptions, assumptions must be constantly fed the positive perspective, the positive outcome. Assumptions must be constantly fed the positive outcome. Otherwise, you let it waver off of something that don't collaborate with it, or a thought process that's against it, it falls and it dies. And that's what many of our manifestations or our blessings, dreams, whatever you call it, this is where they fall apart for us and where we don't get them. It ain't because some God is holding it back or the devil is holding it back. This is an automatic system that's operating off of, and everything function off of it. Everything feeding off of this, and everything in existence have to play its role off of this. So it ain't no personal pick and choose when something can happen and something can't happen. It's just an automatic system. The only thing that makes the things fall apart and not come to you is because you don't have the belief in it. You have a contrary belief that it is possible. We all victims of that. All of us would like to have much more and greater lives than we have, and I'm one of them. But I got old thoughts processes that I have in me that are programs that I need to reprogram and update and take some information out and install new information. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not doing this just so I can draw a crowd or nothing like this. I'm doing this so I can look back at myself and listen to what I'm saying, critique it, and say, let me think about that. Let me get into that a little bit more. So it is not like I'm expecting you to master this overnight, but it is imperative that we begin to practice these particular mindset and mind skills and utilize these mental tools and mathematics. I promise you, if you use them and get into them, they will work, and nothing I say will fall. Truth don't need somebody to bash it on you or force it on you. Truth knows how to support itself, and I've been doing this too long to not know that this is wrong. It's not. It's not incorrect. I know the better you think, the better your life come out. I'm just operating and playing with particular principles and perspectives now that are much grander than the common man wants to discuss or can discuss. I'm not saying I'm better than nobody else. It's just as I have a knack for this. I like to look at and ponder over these things. And since I've been doing it for so long, I'm comfortable with it. I present it to you so we all can work it out and, deal with it and see if they have their weight. Anybody that, want to test this and say, hey, man, I did this. But don't tell me that something didn't transpire because it took long or something like that. Nah, we ain't going to never say what time something should and shouldn't be. So, but like I said, I know when it comes to these particular perspectives, ideas, concepts, dreams, imaginations, and visualizations, they real. I've done it too many times and not noticed. So, like I said, I wanted to get back into what I dropped the other day about causation, assumptions, and using your rational reasoning, a logical mind. I wanted to get into the more of the assumptions, so you can know that your assumptions I ain't gonna say the strongest part of those three, but the assumptions must constantly be fed a perspective that says this is assured. Just because it does not, you cannot tangibly touch it, don't mean it don't exist. That spiritual realm where all things come from through dreams, imagination, and all of that is real. It's just as real as this. For the most part, it's more realer than this world. Let me tell you why. The realm and the domain in which spirituality and energy, magnetic energy that permeates throughout the universe is more realer than this is because it's always constant. When it comes to this physical world, it's always changing. You know how many kingdoms and great men we had that came and fell and gone, and now we don't have no recollection of them and don't mean nothing. They don't mean nothing to us because they came and go because it was never real. That which is real stays. That which is real does not disappear and cannot fade away. Only that which is an illusion fades away. Illusions can die off, fade away, abolish itself, whatever, go away. That which is real cannot. So we need to put more reliance on the unseen realm that causes the physical world to come into play, which is what I'm trying to get your assumptions to be on. The assumptions should be on, I'm dealing with a supreme force that is the cause of all, that I know when I take what I'm looking to experience in this lifetime and put it in there, I don't have to be on it 24/7, but I take my time throughout the day and night or in the morning and dream about it and imagine myself there, and it's already not took place. And if I find out any thought that comes across my path that's controversial or contrary to that, I kill that and I get that out my way, say, no, you're not going to rob me of this. And I stay consistent and I just sit back and I know. When I sit back and relax with it and just kind of play with it and ponder it, and I know it's going to transpire and I'm going to experience it, your assumptions got to be constantly fed that kind of perspective that you know it is assured, and I can guarantee you it is. So like I said, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit more, get more into the assumptions. And like I said, you know, I didn't get into causations and I didn't get into using your rational, logical reasoning mind because, you know, we did that. But the assumptions, I wanted to dig into the assumptions aspect of it a little bit more. So for now, that's me. That's it. And you know my slogan, mind over matter, because matter don't matter.